Hi, everyone. This is Stephanie Mann, and this is the Safe Kids Now show. And we're so happy you could join us today because we have a wonderful guest, and he's going to talk on a very important topic, which is he's a healthy lifestyle specialist and coach. He's also an author, and he was raised and still lives in Chicago, Illinois. He received his BS in hospitality management from the University of Houston and served in various roles as the industry at Fortune 500 companies in sales, food and beverage operations, and dietary nutrition. So I am so pleased to welcome today a man that's been actively involved in your health and our health and safety information for quite a number of years. And here he is. Welcome, Jeff Cade. We're so happy to have you join us. Thank you. All
Thank
right.
you.
Why don't we just start off and you tell us a little bit about what is a healthy lifestyle? We all need to know what that is.
Well, thank you so much, Stephanie, for having me. I'm humbled and honored to be here on your show. Thank you so much. You know, being and living having a healthy lifestyle is really comes from the mindset and the heart set. I truly believe that once you're involved in understanding with clarity, especially mental clarity, what is needed. And sometimes your body tells you what you need. Sometimes we just don't listen. But there is a difference of knowing and doing. And so my job is to help transform to perform. So my team and I empower and partner with people to transform their unhealthy choices into a vibrant, active lifestyle. And it can mean a variety of things to different people. For me, it's really about the 3 ingredients to the recipe for your soul. And we're going to discuss that a little later as it relates to the mindset, diet, and exercise. Yes.
Okay. Well, now tell us a little bit about, do you want to start with the 3 ingredients? Is that the best place to start?
Yeah, we can. So for me, it's definitely about the 3-step process to elevate your well-being. And I look at it as for optimal health. We all know, or we should know, what begins and ends starts with the mind. And we all know the power of the spoken word. And so with your mindset, it's really about, of course, being focused, having clarity on what you want to achieve. But everybody has different health goals, right? Everybody has different health goals. And so with the mindset, I really like to understand or get people's understanding of what they feel and how they can live a healthier lifestyle by using your mind. And what I mean is really using the power of I am affirmations.
Right.
And the power of I am affirmations have been around for a very long time. And it's about utilizing them to create what you want. So for example, we use the alphabet. And in my book, Battleground Cancer, we talk about, I share this with some people, as it relates to certain letters of the alphabet using the power of I am. So I have one for you. I am able. I am able. I'm able to do great things. Another A, a letter A would be I am amazing. And so
Right.
it all is about choosing the right letter that describes you or that what you how you feel. And obviously using affirmations is about daily meditation. You can use them in the morning, in the middle of the day, when you're having a long and hard, arduous day, before you
Yeah.
go to bed. And so, how about the letter B? Well, I am blessed. Or the letter C, I am chosen. I am a
Yeah.
champion. I am a champion. So the mindset is very powerful, as you know. And I think that once you start using the power of I am affirmations, it can take you a long way because it becomes now a habit. And when you habitually say things, you start creating momentum and traction and using them every day. And
You
so
know,
I
I'm
think
thinking as you're saying that, that maybe it would help people get to sleep too and relax because those are reaffirming, so reaffirming. I like that. That's good. I'm going to try it. Go ahead.
I'm going to give you and work with me here on this one. I'm going to give you
Okay.
I call it a triple threat H in the letter H. I call it the triple letter threat. Ready? Here we go.
Oh, okay.
I am happy.
Mhm.
I am healed. And my favorite is I am healthy. So every day I'm going to say I am happy. I am healed. I am healthy. And so you start using that powerful muscle between your ears and it starts to resonate and your body will follow. But we have to use them. Not to say, oh yeah, I feel good today. The letter G, I feel good. Well, that's really that's kind
Yeah.
of basic. You really have to, be in a quiet place or being in a place or being in your happy space, wherever that happy space could be. Now, obviously, we're doing a lot of things digitally and virtually and etc. But you could be in your car, you could be in your office, you could be in your basement, you can be wherever you are. But I try
Yeah.
and say these things in the morning to start my day, and at the end of the day, I try and go through the if I don't go through all of the letters of the alphabet, I definitely try and go through the bottom half because
Oh, the bottom half.
it's just important in terms of how many letters in the alphabet. I think 26, 27 letters,
Yeah.
something like that.
Right.
So as you get towards the bottom, you start recognizing certain letters that really, really can be very powerful. So for example, in the letter O, and a lot of people can relate to this, especially during these challenging pandemic times. O is I'm an overcomer. I am an
Good.
overcomer. You can do the letter P. I am protected. I am powerful. And I am perseverance. See, there's a lot of different,
I like it.
letters
I
that
like
that
it.
that people can choose to form their own affirmation. And so I share those in my book, and I like to share that with different audiences because it really affects the mind and it really can get your day going and it keeps
Mhm.
you in a very energized way, energized fashion, and you're upbeat and you're up to your tempo, your flow, as well, and your vibrancy. All those are very important as it deals with the mindset.
I
So
like it a lot. That's nice.
the
You know,
audience
I
just
don't
has
think
to
most of
choose their
us think of
special
it.
letters.
Yeah, I don't think most of us think about, affirming ourselves so much. A lot of times we try and encourage other people, but we really need to help encourage ourselves. And that's great. I like that.
No, thank you. It's important. It's
Sure.
important. And I will raise my hand. Sometimes I may even fall short by missing a day or two, but I have a reminder on our wall in the power of I
Mm,
am affirmation. So if I forget a letter, if I'm going through some things, I walk to
yeah,
that mirror and I look at it and say, you know what? Let me get back on track. Let me
right.
forget about what just happened. The letter E, let me empower myself. Let me
Good.
become more energetic. and just really focus. And I know it's been challenging during these times, especially these last 2 years, of really trying to stay positive. But we have to. We have to be vigilant. Ah, that's a letter V, huh? We have to be vigilant.
Vigilant or diligent?
Vigilant and diligent, both of them. You just create
Absolutely.
a letter. There you go. You got your D word.
Yeah. Okay. What else can we learn? I like this.
Another thing, another component, obviously, is not just the mindset. We have to actually take action. And the word action is in the word traction. We have to take action. We have to have a call to action to ourselves. In order to do that, we have to be mindful of our diet. Now, I know over the years, there's been plenty of diets that people are on and off and on and off, enthusiasts and et cetera. And they gain the weight, they lose the weight, they set the health goals, they get the resolutions and everything else that goes along with that. But sometimes, we may fall short. And so we just have to understand the power of the diet. And I'm not talking about a lot of variety of diets out there. I'm just being very specific in terms of understanding just diet and nutrition. So, for example, you have to be mindful of the type of foods that and the labeling and content on our packaging.
That's kind of critical, isn't it?
Yeah, there was a time. I mean, most of us, I know I myself, speaking for myself, I am not a scientist. I am not a chemist. So I don't really know all really of the ingredients that are on all these packages. But I will say, if it is a paragraph on the back of a package, it may not be best for you, right? If it's too many words that you can't comprehend and it's just ongoing, it might be harmful to you. So it's really
buyer beware.
It's really about understanding the nutritional content on labeling and packaging. And, we all know that if we consume sugar, there's some type of sugar or form of sugar in most of our products, in food and beverage, especially soda, especially diet soda. You want to stay away from the diet and the regular soda drinks out there. I'm kind of old school, so I call it pop, pop and soda.
Right.
And, that has a high sugar content as well as high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup is in a lot of our products that we consume today. And there was a time where it wasn't as regulated. It wasn't as regulated because powerful companies use very good marketing to get our attraction, to get these products and services. So we didn't know what we didn't know. Well, now, there's a little bit more educational content on all this labeling and packaging. And so you just want to really be mindful of what really you're consuming. If it's a lot of sugar, if anything that says high fructose corn syrup, in fact, I challenge the audience, if you go through your cabinets, go through your cupboards, and if you see a lot of products on there that have high fructose corn syrup, you kind of might want to reduce or eliminate it at all. I have a quick story. So I used to have a favorite auntie. Loved her very much. And she would always serve us this special type of syrup. And I really, really enjoyed it. Her name was Aunt Jemima.
I know what kind of syrup that was.
Her name was Aunt Jemima. And over the years, I consumed it as a youth and even as an adult. But once I started to understand the content and education and research, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, Aunt Jemima, you gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta. Yeah. So she had to pack her apron and she had to go. We kicked her out the house, and there was no more Aunt Jemima. Now we have a more healthier alternative that has no high fructose corn syrup label, and that's called Log Cabin. I'm not marketing for these companies. I'm just saying that in my household, I choose to challenge our family and not consume products that have high fructose corn syrup. We don't have soda in our house. We try and reduce anything that has HFCS in it because over the long term, Stephanie, it can have damaging results to your arteries.
Yes.
And it can cause inflammation. and it's also associated with the increased risk of obesity, cancer,
Right.
and cancer, and
You
heart
know,
disease.
cancer loves sugar,
That's
and
what it
people
does. Yes.
should, yeah, and we should all take, at one time I worked for a candy store and we
I
could
bet
eat
that
all
was fun.
it was until I got arthritis so bad I couldn't even move my wrists. And that's how it hit me. And it was too much sugar. And I was 18 at the time and I had to
Mm.
bind my wrist in order not to move them. And I didn't figure it out for a while. Why was I having this problem with my wrists? I went to a specialist and he told me I'd have to take cortisone shots for the rest of my life. And I went, no, that doesn't sound right to me. Didn't sound right at all. And it took me quite a while to figure out it was the sugar. And I did figure it out for myself. And I eat very little sugar, but I can have some in moderation. So that's what I've chosen to do once in a great while.
I will say I'm glad you shared that story, because as when we were young, you don't think about those things until
No,
you get a younger adult, middle age, and as you start getting older, you cannot rewind the clock of time.
no,
You
can't.
cannot rewind the clock of father time and or mother time, and eventually, if you do not reduce the intake of sugar or high fructose corn syrup, it will catch up with you. And it doesn't matter how healthy you are in terms of jogging, lifting weights, cardio interval training, because it has already worked its way through its arteries.
Yeah.
And you are so correct that cancer loves sugar.
Yeah.
And the only way to starve cancer cells is to eat more fruits and vegetables, and make sure that sometimes you can even be on something that is more plant-based than meat-based. And it's very important that you starve those cells because they do rely on sugar. So for me, again, no soda, no, not a lot of candy, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that have high fructose corn syrup in it, and I just challenge my family and people who I share this with, try and just reduce it as much as possible. I know you can't kick the habit of drinking a Pepsi a day or a Coke a day or any other favorite beverage that you may have. However, if you are reducing it during the week, those little small steps, incremental steps,
Will
add
help.
up to big steps.
Right.
And I know you can't see the staircase, but you just take one step at a time. Your body will thank you, and you won't even know it. But you will start to have more energy and more focus because, as we know, a lot of soda has what? Caffeine in it.
Hmm.
So another thing that is very
I
important.
have a question, Jeff.
Sure.
Um, they're advertising all the time on television about these capsules that are full of energy food. They take fruits and vegetables and they shrink them down into these capsules. I can't remember the name of the product, but
Hmm.
you take 3 a day, and it gives you all the nourishment that you need for your body. And I'm just wondering if you were familiar with those products and if that is something that you would recommend.
Stephanie, I actually cannot speak on that. I have not seen that commercial or the product that you actually are referring to.
I'm trying to think of the
Um,
name of it.
I do know that a lot of things we live in a microwave society, quick action. Got to get
Right.
this, you got to get that. And I prefer just, to be quite honest, the old school way of thinking in a modern way where I can get my fruits and vegetables from a good source, whether they be organic or whether, obviously non-GMO. And GMO stands for genetically modified organisms.
Right.
And when you go in a grocery store, they're not going to tell you what's a GMO. It's not
Right.
their job to. It's not their job to. Just like the FDA. The FDA is not going to label as such that something isn't technically bad for you. They're going to say this is what? Edible or consumable. It does not say healthy. So
Right.
you have to understand there's a lot of companies out there that are, they're doing what they have to do as a marketing giant to make sure that you and I as a consumer consume those products, right? And we know that that's just part of it. But
They're
we
there
just
to
have
make
to
money.
exactly.
That's what they do.
That's
Yes.
that's what they do. But there's some GMOs that I want to share with the audience that may not be aware, of the potency of GMOs. So genetically modified organisms consist of let's see, tomatoes, potatoes, corn, soy, um, canola, and squash. So those particular items are just genetically modified. They're
Well,
just
now,
genetically modified. You
let
just
me
have to
ask you.
kind of look for in your grocery stores, look for something either organic, which may cost a little more,
Okay.
or you just have to be aware. Just be aware what I've just shared with you, because I didn't know what I didn't know until I understood, until I did the research and understood that, okay, I didn't know that. So maybe I should go get a organic tomato, or if I like squash, make sure it says organic. But these things they've been doing for years, Stephanie. They've been doing it for years.
That's such an interesting point, because I think a lot of us do not understand the GMO. And that means that the product, like a potato or a tomato that has been grown, has had fertilizers on it with what? How does that
Well,
translate, that GMO? How does it get into the tomato? And
well, it comes from, I hate to use the word, I'm going to make up this word. It's called twinning. Twinning. It's genetically modified. It's kind of like almost like twinning slash cloning, and being able to modify an actual item or an actual fruit or vegetable.
okay,
And when you see organic, you know that that has not been genetically modified.
right, okay,
That's part of this kind of the closer of the answer I can have for you. So for me, I just don't get those items. And if I do, like for example, I enjoy potatoes with the skin on
right,
as a youth, and I think over time I just kind of got tired of them, or and I didn't lose my taste for them. I just didn't bring them in the house as much because why? They're genetically modified, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not even gonna look for organic. I'm just gonna save money, and I'm just not gonna eat it. And
Hmm.
that's all there is to it.
So you buy all organic food when you go to the grocery store?
What I try and do is do a good mix of things. I try and do organic. So, for example, I like my organic broccoli, organic asparagus, and things that don't have any nitrates or nitrates. And those are really just chemical active compounds that are used in the preservation, the processing of our foods. And so
Okay,
anything that says no nitrates or no nitrates, that's good for me. And you're not going to find those on fruits and vegetables. You're going to find that on mostly meat products. So, when you go to your grocery store, you see the nice red lamb and beef and pork and, all the red lean meats. Well, I try and or sausages or hot dogs, right? Kids love hot dogs.
right,
So for my family, my son, he doesn't know what he doesn't know, but we know he's eating healthy. It's still tasty. We just buy hot dogs that say no nitrates or no nitrates, and so they don't serve any nutritional purpose, and ultimately they can destroy our metabolism.
great.
Um,
That's not a
and
good
so
thought.
yeah. So you just have to look for when you're buying and maybe I should just be more clear. When you're buying processed meats, that's your salami, your turkey, your beef, etc., or hot dogs or sausages, just make sure it says or ask no nitrates or no nitrates. And people can Google that now. Of course, with
Right,
the, with what we have going on with Google and everything, it's information highway. And you can find out a lot about GMOs and nitrates and nitrates, and of course, high fructose corn syrup. Those things, those compounds, I just try and keep that out of my diet, and it's very challenging too. Stephanie, I
right.
will say that it's very challenging because I'm a Doritos guy.
Uh-oh.
I'm a Lay's salt and vinegar guy. I don't eat it every day. Don't get me wrong, but on a weekend, and we have to be honest with ourselves. Everything in moderation, right? Everything in moderation.
Exactly.
It's okay. It's okay to indulge. We just don't want to do what? Overindulge.
Right.
That's all. We just don't want to overindulge.
Let us take a little break at this point.
Sure.
And when we come back, we will talk to Jeff Cade about his book, and he will give us some information and some hot tips. So we will be right back.
Throw and Tuck. It's handmade by myself, and you only can get it here, and it's patent, and it's only here at Rococo Design. It's like a regular pillow, or you can take the blanket out like so, fluff up the pillow, open up your blanket, wrap it around yourself, and then you can lay on your sofa and relax with your pillow throw and tuck. When you're done with it, just flip it over. When you don't want the blanket anymore, you just fold it over twice. Fold it over twice again. Fold it over. And tuck it in the back. And there you go. You're back to the pillow throw and tuck. Rococo Design.
Welcome back. I am delighted today to have with us Jeff Cade, and he is a lifestyle healthy specialist and coach, and he has written a book. And Jeff, tell us about your book, because I know this is very informative for your people that you coach. So talk to us about it.
Well, thank you very much again and having me on the show, Stephanie. I want to backtrack a little bit regarding the book and how it came to fruition and how I was able to come about the idea of presenting this to the audience and to the space that I'm in regarding health and wellness. At one point, I also co-owned a healthy restaurant concept, and I was able to take a deeper dive into the health and wellness space after leaving the restaurant and wanting to get an idea, just understanding more about labeling content, nutritional content, and what are we doing as it relates to our bodies and what it's doing to our bodies in terms of the type of foods that we consume. And imagine, one day, being a young person, I had some challenges with my parents. The challenge was cancer won, and they died 6 years apart. So I lost my father to pancreatic cancer, and I lost my mother 6 years later to breast cancer.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And so I know people, yourself or the audience, might know or know of someone who's been touched by cancer or who's made their transition from cancer. And there are ways, of course, to prevent all type of diseases. As we talked about the mindset, we talked about the diet. Of course, exercise is important. My parents were they were in shape. They were able-bodied individuals. They were healthy, except my father drank that red can that they call joy and happiness every single day. And we know
Oh,
what that can means, right? It means Coca-Cola. And,
oh.
you know, that in
Talk about
itself,
sugar. A lot of
yeah, talk
sugar in
about
that.
sugar, talk
Yeah.
about high fructose corn syrup. And he was also a smoker. But you know what? And I'm talking about over 30 or 40 years before I came into this world. And I'm a 60s product. I'm a 60s product. And,
Okay.
you know, he didn't die of throat cancer or heart disease or lung cancer, heart attack. It wasn't anything like that. It was dealing from the pancreas. And I truly believe that that stemmed from his consumption of a lot of high fructose corn syrup in that can that they call joy and happiness. And over time, when I lost my mother, it really allowed me to kind of, understand what can I do to share my story and understand my journey as well as help others, because things can be avoided. And I used my experiences, my journey, and in order to share the story. And that's why I call it battleground cancer, because we all are dealing with the battlefield of life. But battleground cancer is really about managing your mental, spiritual, and physical well-being for the fight, because we all are dealing with some type of fight right now. And so I took that journey, and it was therapeutic for me. But at the same time, I wanted to share some things about, obviously, my parents, my upbringing, because through the loss of my parents, there of course was no parental touch, love, or further guidance, because they had made their transition. They had received their wings, and I felt alone for a very long period of time, and I tried to camouflage that. And what wound up happening is I started to say, you know what, I need to share this, but I also need to make sure that it's just not a regular book, that is also personal, that other people can relate to. And through the story and through the journey, I wanted to put my experiences in the particular book. When I say my experiences, I'm talking about my college, professional experiences, what I've learned from being in the restaurant industry and learning things from sales, food and beverage, dietary nutrition, and just package that in a way that, oh yeah, he also co-owned a restaurant. And then further along, I said, you know what? This has to, whatever I have up here, I have to put whatever here to the pad, pen to the pad. And I had to share a lot of things, and it was challenging. It was challenging, but it brought me a sense of peace. It brought me a sensibility to where, you know what, this can help other people, and it's a very good read as it relates to different things that we've discussed. That probably, if they were aware, who knows,
Right.
maybe I would have had more years with them. But I think over
Right.
time, as you know, the FDA was not, they weren't policed a lot to share a lot of the content that they have to do now. If you think about it, in the past 10 or 15 years, they've been forced really to add major ingredients on the back of labeling in certain packaged goods. They're forced to do that because people are becoming more aware. They're becoming educated on what's harmful to them. And so it's not that I didn't have, I had balanced meals, probably like somebody else. I had good protein, good starch, good fruit, good vegetable on my plate. But at the same time, you know, I think with them, they ate what they wanted to eat. They tried to be healthy. They were in shape. But over time, which I was unaware, things started to occur in their bodies, right? And as you said before, you made a very important point. Cancer loves sugar. And when you start to get into understanding that you've been diagnosed with cancer or even a major disease, specifically cancer, you have to make some changes fast. And at
Yes.
the same time, you have to sometimes Western medicine may not be the best viable option.
No.
But the chemotherapy, the radiation, they both went through that route. However, as you know, that can kill white blood cells, and you need your white blood cells to strengthen. They're used to strengthen and to avoid any other type of or to protect you. And my mother on her side, she actually was diagnosed in 1987, and God gave me 10 more years with her till 97. But she used a variety of approaches. She used Western and Eastern medicine. She used sometimes a holistic alternative approach. And I talk about that in the book on ways to do that, such as acupuncture, drinking certain type of teas, because as you know, teas help detoxify. They help release the toxins. Certain, even water, alkaline water can flush those toxins out. So the difference is she was a little bit more educated about what's going on. And even though she passed of breast cancer and he passed of pancreatic, they caught the pancreatic at a late stage, I think stage 3. And so it's kind of challenging to play that back at his age in his 60s, and to kind of trying to correct the problem at hand. And so really the book is definitely a journey, but it is about understanding the power of the mind, getting involved with that, changing your diet. The diet is so important, because if you're consuming a lot of fruits and vegetables and getting exercise in, the cancer can't survive. It's almost like, if you think of right now, the virus. Well, the virus needs a host.
Yeah.
It needs a host to mutate, but it needs a host. Well, with cancer, it needs something to thrive on, and usually that's sugar, probably among other things, but it's really sugar. And once you're able to cut that sugar off and being able to change your lifestyle, you might be able to live longer. I mean, it's very possible.
Absolutely.
Very possible.
Jeff, I want to thank you so much for sharing all of this information, because, I think diet is critical for everyone's survival. I see too many people sitting around and eating while they're watching television or a ball game, and kind of out of habit, I think, just eating and eating. And, you got to be careful, as you said, of what you put in your mouth and what you're eating. So, and I think it's particularly important because those of you that are parents, you're teaching your children. And if you're not eating, really well, your son may not be like Jeff. He decided to go the healthy route, but a lot of kids copy their parents. And if you're eating foods that are not good for you, other times the children will do the same thing. So do you have any final thoughts for us today?
Yes, I do. Thank you for asking. I want to share with you, I know most of us should have a doctor. We should have a doctor, or maybe multiple doctors. However, I know we've all heard of the celebrity doctors like Dr. Oz or Dr. Phil, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, Dr. Ian Smith. There's a lot of doctors out there that are doing good, and I'm sure your doctor and my doctor are doing well to keep us alive and being on purpose. However, I bet there's a doctor out there that you haven't even heard of, and it's all around us. So that doctor, his name is Dr. Serds. That's right, Dr. Serds, and that's SERDS. Right? Most people haven't, but the good thing is that it's all around us, and the prescriptions are all within us. So, for example, we talked about letters, right, Stephanie?
Yes.
So,
this is going to go as spelling, right?
No, not necessarily. I want people to keep in mind what Dr. Serds is. So S is sunlight.
Good.
S is sunlight, because if you have natural sunlight, you're getting, of course, vitamin D. And who doesn't like a good dose of vitamin D? Now, I'm in the Midwest, So I'm not getting a lot of vitamin D right now. I have to
No,
kind
you're
of go
not.
somewhere to go get it, kind of like Vegas or California
Yes.
or Miami or Texas. E is important, and E is exercise. You know,
Yes.
studies and research have shown that 20 to 40 minutes a day, of cardio interval training can increase your energy, blood flow, possible reduction in weight. Right. It also
Good.
increases your endorphin levels. The letter R. We all need this. We all need 7-8 hours of this rest. We need rest. That's right. 7-8 hours of that. And then we talked about this doctor a lot, and that's the letter D. What is that, Stephanie?
Let's see. D. Tell me.
Diet.
Oh, of course.
Diet. Yes, diet. And then lastly, it's all on us to make the final decisions for our bodies and ourselves, and that's self-esteem. We need the self-esteem. We need the confidence of the power of I am affirmations, which we discussed earlier, for better mental, physical clarity, even spiritual clarity. So that's Dr. Serds, and it's all around us.
Okay, Dr. SERDS.
That's right.
That's
right.
a great way to remember it.
That's right.
So I want to thank you so much for joining us today, Jeff. It has been a pleasure, and we've gotten a wealth of information about how to take care of ourselves. And you can't be good parents if you don't have good ways of taking care of yourself. And thank you for giving us some really constructive thoughts about that. So
thank you so much. Thank you so much. And please, for people who want to connect with me, they can connect with me at jeffcade360.com, JEFFCADE360.com. That's a communication hub. And you can connect with me and learn more about health and wellness, my program, the Ultimate Health and Happiness Program. And we can just communicate and really discover what's going on with you. Most definitely.
Well, good advice. So thank you so much for being with me today.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Okay, take care.
Enjoy.
Bye-bye. Well, that was so informative, and I'm going to remember Dr. Serds. I can remember that. And next week, we're having a wonderful lady going to be joining us, and she is a retired federal judge, and her name is Mary Elizabeth Blaylock. And she will be with us next Wednesday at the same time, same station. So join us at that time, and thank you so much for joining us. Peace and love. Bye-bye.
You're listening to All About Us Radio. We're live streaming 24/7, playing old school versus new school. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at AAU Media, and visit our website www.aaumedia.com. Call us at 1-833-369-1444, extension 1, and leave us an inspirational message or request. You're listening to All About Us Radio.